What's going on, guys, and welcome to the Diamond Standard YouTube channel at The Collector. We're going to be headed into day number 18, game number 1. My rank will be Solar Gold. The match time is 6 minutes and 1 second. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, please. It would greatly help. I am going to be facing a war deck in this first match. Going to be Woodcutter Imp that he busts out first there. I end up letting a obelisk down on turn 2, a decent open as long as he is unable to take my obelisk out. He doesn't clear the obelisk and I am able to take down the creature with protection. That gives me a pretty strong chance of surviving. Gotta love that Woodcutter Imp because he just does damage to himself as I continue to heal. I'm hoping to bust out the Nether Swarm Lord at this point and just put down a wild amount of damage. When he gets overkill though, that's going to be a pretty big bummer on my plans. Of course, waiting for him to make a decision about what's good, and he is able to kill the Overswarm Lord without killing his big old buffed monster. The cunning challenger is always something that's difficult to get rid of once he gets it rolling. And he has enough to put me down, and that's the end of it. So headed into game number 2 with 0 wins and 1 loss. I will be Solar Gold in this match, and my time is 10 minutes and 38 seconds against a Death deck. Death deck is a pretty good matchup for me. It looks like he will be playing Control. So there's a chance that I will be able to bust out early, especially with 2 Ragnaroks in my hands. Deuteria, I play Voracious Fiend. Taking his time, just stalling like wild. Clears the Voracious Fiend. I don't have anything other than Control in my hand. Finally, I pull an Obelisk, but I feel like he'll just be able to clear it pretty quick, and of course Curse of Greed immediately. But a Scepter is pretty good. Unfortunately, he has the Bronze Servant. I decide to kill it, my own zombie, in order to prevent him from getting the Bronze Servant, but he's got Relic Destroy in his hand anyway. Nether Swarm Lord for the card draw. He takes the Bronze Servant, and it pretty much sucks because then he puts the Necro Scepter down himself. At this point, I anticipate losing, but I hold out because you just never know what will happen in these matches. Taking his sweet old time. The Baroness, always a pain. Go ahead and I clear the kill that's out on the board. He gets a Nether Swarm Lord, which is a pretty tough issue to deal with. I'm having to think about a good plan here, and I just decide to try to play what I can. At this point, my opponent is AFK. I don't really like taking wins like this, but in ranked mode, I will take what I can get. He waits out the full timer, and that is unfortunate for him. It seems like he likely would have overcame me. but I win after the timer runs out, so headed into game 3 with a 1 win and a 1 loss. My rank is Solar Gold and the match time is 3 minutes and 54 seconds. Busting out an awesome opening hand in game number 3 with the Necrosceptor and the Petulant Imp. Always strong. He's running an Empower deck with armor, which can be difficult to get around, but I Ragnarok at an excellent time. He decides to try to mostly run it down, and seeing as the majority of his creatures are still alive, he stood a pretty good chance. I am unable to clear his board, but I am able to heal some. He powers himself up again, and he is able to have just enough damage to kill me, and so that will be the end of game number 3, headed into match 4 with 1 win and 2 losses, ranked Solar Gold. This match is 7 minutes and 49 seconds against a light deck. Light tends to grow quickly. I'm looking for the scepter when I keep shuffling around. Curse of Greed probably would have been a stronghold, but I had a Ragnarok, and I do end up pulling Necrosceptor. So this turns into a pretty strong hand. Always exciting when he plays his board out heavy. I let the Necrosceptor go in hopes that he will finish playing what he has. Taking down his protection works well for my Ragnarok. I drop the obelisk just to stall up him from just taking it to my face, but it probably would have been a decent plan to hold on to it for a turn, and maybe Wicked Fae just to absorb a little bit of the damage. He manages to do pretty well for himself here with the armor. It's hard to clear that, but I know with my Nether Swarm Lord I will be thick enough to lay down some damage. And I know if he doesn't clear my board basically or do enough damage to take out quite a few of my creatures, I will be able to Corpse Explosion this next turn. He manages to clear enough of my creatures to survive, and I put a hurting on him, but still have quite a few nethers to go with. And he ends up surrendering, giving it to me, headed into game 5 with 2 wins and 2 losses, rank Solar Gold. My match time is 10 minutes and 15 seconds against a mage. An interesting move here in the first few turns. Not exactly sure that is a common deck to see, but that's okay. He's basically preventing me from playing creatures, but it works out for me. He then clears my board pretty heavily. Fickle Cambion just trying to stick around. I didn't want to leave it at a 3-3, and he do like a shaped blast. And then he plays Oni, which is a giant pain in my ass. I clear the Oni and drop the Arch of Minmos, which can be pretty nice. He deals some damage to it, and I anticipate he is going to try to destroy it next turn. He is unable to clear it, though he does put down a little bit of a challenge for me here. Getting out some zombies with the arch before it gets taken down. There is his shaped blast. He was unable to clear the arch, but the Lehord hatchling does make it out. I clear his entire field and then still drop a decaying rhino, knowing he will have a tough time at taking that out. Lightning talisman is a pain. I do end up putting down 5 damage with the decaying rhino. Pulling a scepter, not needed at this time. Looking for the corpse explosion. Of course, the unbound flame. I pull the corpse explosion a day late and a dollar short, but still get the obelisk out there. Of course, the Onis do heal enough to be a giant pain. Killing the Oni, he didn't heal as much as he potentially could have. Polyhymnia is going to be a pretty big problem. At this point, I basically have to pull something, and he ends up ending it anyway. So, headed into game number 6 with 2 wins and 3 losses, still in Solar Gold, and the match time will be 4 minutes and 25 seconds into a war deck. I have a decent opening hand with Voracious Fiends just because it keeps the creatures coming. Decent opening hand for him. I definitely am going to want to kill that because I don't want to see all of his creatures buffed up. I open with the obelisk and decide that just 2 zombies from killing, that's good enough. He sacrifices his weapon instantly, and I'm not sure what he's going to be doing at this point. Kills off my zombies, which is a pain, but manageable because I have a Blight Bomb in my hand. Decaying Rhino is super awesome at this point. He domes another 6 damage. And I am pretty close to ending it at this point. I have it in my hand being able to end it. And I pass it to him, and he surrenders. Headed into game number 7 with 3 wins and 3 losses, a Solar Gold, and this match would be 10 minutes and 43 seconds against a mage. Always a tough matchup. He's got the poke to just keep pinging me down. Voracious Fiend is a decent opening. Obelisk, but he gets Starfall. He clears my creature. I go Decaying Rhino, knowing that the next turn that I can Nether Swarm Lord. And so if he has several AoE cards, I will be okay. I decide to clear his board. Lehord Hatchling, and he gets rid of the Nether Swarm Lord. I clear the Lehord Hatchling and decide to just try to get as much damage down as possible. He goes for as much protection as he can get. At this point, it's been about enough. The Unbound Flame. I drop him down to a 2, but I don't have it in me to kill him, and he must have the Artemis up his sleeve, and surely he did. He goes back to 10. Necroscepter trying to get some zombies out there so that I can Corpse Explosion. He heals again. And I just keep putting damage down as much as possible. He plays the Oni, healing a ton and clearing the board once again. I play the Arch, this time hoping he has no way to clear the board surely. But once again he does. He clears the board and clears my Arch. The zombie spawning becomes extremely difficult at this point. I get out a Fickle Cambion. I get him down to 11, hoping he will not be able to clear my board. He doesn't clear the board, but I still don't have enough to end it. Nether Swarm Lord, followed up by some zombies, and luckily he plays it all, and I know I will end it when he's out of mana and is unable to kill me with the Corpse Explosion. Headed into game number 8 with 4 wins and 3 losses. My rank is Solar Gold, and this match is 10 minutes and 24 seconds against a nature deck. That can be a pretty good matchup. Gonna be facing an Amazon deck, always a strong one. Gotta try to keep them suppressed. There's a couple of critical things to kill, like the Amazon Archer. So you must save a little bit of kill for that. When he gets the Obelisk, that's a pretty big deal. Luckily, I pulled the Necroscepter, which keeps me moving along. He goes to get wide, and I think, oh, a little bit rough, but I can Ragnarok, and then he will think I've played most of my clear. So he plays his Archer. I know at this point he'll be a little bit vulnerable, so I Curse of Greed and buff it up so I have another kill spell in my hand. And ping him so the scepter goes off. At this point, it's about stalling until I can get my combo out, and in fact, I get the arch out. He knows it's in his best interest to clear as much of my board as he possibly can. He summons that front line. I know at this point it's in my best interest to clear as much of his board as I can without losing. So that I will be able to end it next turn if possible. He cleared a pretty good chunk of my board and then gets the Dryad out so everything can heal. I'm doing the math and he's giving me the GG and I know I can't end it. So I Decaying Rhino and just clear as much of his board as possible. I'm at 15 health wondering how he will be able to end it. Canopy Barrage. He doesn't get the Decaying Rhino. And I know I will end it this turn now with a Corpse Explosion, so 20 damage in one turn, which is pretty wild. So headed into game 9 with 5 wins and 3 losses. My rank is Solar Gold. I forgot to film it, all but the sad defeat at the end. Headed into game number 10 with 5 wins and 4 losses. My rank is Solar Gold. This match is 4 minutes and 37 seconds against a War deck. Not my favorite open with a Fickle Gambit and a Petulant Imp in my hand, but I do what I can with it. He immediately gets rid of my Petulant Imp. He has a lot of control over me when I have such an expensive hand. And he clears my board again, and I have basically nothing that I can do at this point, so I drop a Wicked Fade, just hoping to stall him and be able to get my arch out. I pretty much fear at this point being beat to death, but there is some chance I will make a recovery. And that chance gets even slimmer, basically down to none. And in fact, I know it is 0 at this point as I hand it back. So that is overall results of 5 wins and 5 losses for day number 18. with 10.529 gods earned and an end rank of solar gold. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have fun playing Gods Unchained.